Frequency 1138 is all clear and clanker free. This is Clone Army Radio.
What is up, Clone Army? We are back again for another Mandalorian Aftershow. This is Chapter 13, The Jedi. I am one of your hosts, CT5555, also known as ARC Trooper 5s. And as per usual, I am co-hosted with CT4444, also known as Fours, also known as Fours. What did we call you? Human cyborg relations?
Fours life, man. Fours life. Wow.
Fours life. What's up, dude?
What can you do? It's coming at you in waves now. Jeez.
So I think I want to start out with saying that it was either our last midweek or the recording before that we were kind of right on with something. One of us, I can't remember which one, mentioned that maybe Ahsoka would tap into Baby Yoda's mind and we'd learn a little bit about him. So,
yeah. I was happy to see.
we can check that box that we got something right.
Hey, we know what we're doing here.
We know what we're doing, ish.
Ish. Yeah, exactly. Ish.
So good job there, Fours. And I guess on that note, you had asked me also when I thought we would see Ahsoka in this episode, and we, I believe, agreed that we would probably see her towards the end. Even though I had said I think we both wanted to see her right away. And there we are. Right. Boom. There she is.
Right at the beginning. Like, no hesitation. Like, it was her. Like, yep, they weren't hiding it. It was pretty much scripted from last episode. And as soon as you knew who the director was, you knew she was going to make an appearance. And they didn't like do like some kind of like reveal at the end, like how I did the play-by-play last episode. You know, now nothing subtle about it. It was like, Ahsoka's there. Boom. Get used to it. Get used to the new voice.
Yeah. They didn't hesitate. They showed no mercy. So it was kind of cool to see some lightsabers booming right at the beginning.
I was confused why they were white, but my little Fours told me all about it.
Oh, did she now?
Yeah, she paused it. And she paused it in this really cool spot. Like, you could see Ahsoka's face through the lightsabers and stuff as she was cutting through those guys. And she was like, oh, I saw something on YouTube where she got those white lightsabers from the witches, the Night Sisters, I think.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know what happened to her blue ones. She had blue ones, right? Before?
She had, I think she started out with green. I could be wrong. And then she had blue. I believe. I don't know. I don't know if I'm spoiling anything. I guess just in case.
I saw on the Clone Wars that she got some blue ones from.
Yeah.
She got them back from Anakin. Yeah.
Right. Which was a really touching. That whole scene was amazing. Whole different topic, but yeah. I think in Rebels, spoiler alert, I guess, but I think she ends up with white lightsabers in Rebels. I'm just starting to rewatch Rebels, so I'll know for sure in a few weeks, I guess. But yeah, there were people I think referring to her as like Ahsoka the White, like kind of a Lord of the Rings thing. So yeah, that's funny that your little Fours was like, hey, guess what? I didn't know about the Night Sisters thing. That's pretty cool. I'll have to look into that.
She said she saw it on the YouTubes. So one of those "Where's Ahsoka Now" type YouTube type kind of videos.
Okay.
So it's good to see that she's up to some good. You know, she's not just like moping around on an island, you know, wishing things went better. She's still fighting a good fight, you know, fighting against oppression and trying to free people from an evil dictator, if you will, type person.
Right.
So that's kind of cool.
Definitely. All right. So I guess for start, well, we already started, but since we've kind of been doing letter grade,
Yeah.
you know, for episodes, I think we should probably stick with that. What do you got there?
I got a solid A on this episode.
Okay.
Only because, I mean, first off, you get to see the live action kind of like reveal of Ahsoka Tano, where she's at now. You know, they didn't pull any punches. They didn't do anything cute. They're just like, here she is. This is what she's doing. And this is the Mandalorian, you know, kind of like Mando kind of, you know, intercepting with her storyline. And it leave me wanting more. And I'm almost like ready for an Ahsoka Tano, like her own TV show, really. Because I think there's enough there, especially what she reveals, who she's looking for.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We'll be tackling that in a minute. Okay. Yeah. I think for me, it's going to be a little different. I kind of have two letter grades, one for the episode and one for like the story. And I'm right there with you with the episode. I would give it an A. It was, I mean, I have many reasons why, some of which what you just said. But I guess for the overall storyline, I'm going to like a C minus.
Oh,
because not to jump through the entire show or episode, but this I thought that this was going to be like the big, okay, now the story is on track. We're going to see, and we might see a lot of things happen, but for Ahsoka at the end to just be like, I don't want to teach him, maybe try this, basically call another Jedi, you know? And I'm like, okay, so.
Yeah, technically it's not a bad, not to cut you off, but she's technically not a Jedi anyways. But the fact that she gives them like, kind of like a path to find like a real Jedi or a traditional Jedi or a Jedi we haven't seen yet. I don't know. Kind of leaves like he's still on his quest, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I just, yeah, and right, she's not technically a Jedi, even though that the magistrate refers to her as a Jedi. But what else do they know, right? I get that. I guess I don't know. I guess expectations get me sometimes too. I was expecting something more out of it, and she didn't necessarily have to train Baby Yoda, but she could have went with them to Tython.
Right.
Something just to
you know what? There was a shot there really early on with the whole reunion, or not reunion, but the whole get together, where it was almost like Mando was the dad, Ahsoka was the mom, and you know, the child was the child. Like it almost seemed like they were like a family for a second before she started like doing her training, or you know, before she started doing her like testing of him. But yeah, that didn't last.
Right. All right. So I guess that's. I know obviously we're not letter grading the story, but that was just kind of. I felt a little let down as far as. I don't know if we're going to see Ahsoka again this season, I guess is my problem. Yeah, because I kind of thought that was not his end game, but that was going to take the story to the next step, was teaming up with her. And she's just like, adios.
See you later. Nice to know you.
Yeah.
By the way, the baby's name is not, the child. It's, how do you say it?
Grogu, I believe.
Grogu.
Yeah.
So you got that little nugget.
Yeah, right. So she sits down with him, and you could tell he was talking to her, because he's like tilting his head and making little noises, and she's just kind of looking at him, smiling a little bit, and we hear that he was being trained at the temple on Coruscant, and then by multiple masters.
Yeah,
which I thought was interesting.
Very interesting.
And then when Order 66 happened, someone took him from the temple, and then his memories kind of go dark. I don't know if she meant like fuzzy or dark as in dark side. I couldn't pick up what she was saying.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
I only watched it once, so I haven't really gone back to focus on that yet. So I don't know. To me, I guess it sounded like things got fuzzy after that. But he's obviously very intelligent. You would think that with the Force, with him and whatnot, he wouldn't really forget things. But we don't know where he's been. We don't know who the someone is that took him. If it was a Jedi trying to hide him, or if it was someone working for Palpatine.
Well, I mean, we know that all the other younglings, because he's probably considered a youngling, right? What their fate was.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe somebody in the temple at that point saw what was going on, knew that this youngling was a little special because, once again, was trained by a bunch of different masters, which it's got a lot of potential. Then, if a bunch of masters are kind of training it. So maybe when they saw what was going on in the younglings room, this one wasn't in there, or must have been, Gorgu or Gorgo.
I think it's Grogu.
Grogu.
Like Grogu.
Yeah, it's gonna take me a while. Grogu was like somewhere else, must have been, and they got him out. And basic start of every other type of missing lord or heir to a throne type of movie, or any kind of like biblical story where you're trying to kill the heir or something. Somebody, a servant even could take him away and have him hide out in different spots for a while, but then probably he ends up with those when Mando picks him up, right? Like this is just a bunch of random like
bounty hunters or something.
Yeah.
I hope I'm sure they'll eventually tell that story, whether it's in this series or something else, preferably, with acting of some sort, not in a book. No knock on the books. I love to read and all that. This is new. This is all new Star Wars. I want to see it. I don't want to read it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we'll find out. And just to touch on the name thing, we found out, when was that, like the second last episode of last season, what the Mandalorian's name was, Din Djarin. And it's so hard to go from calling him the Mandalorian or Mando to his real name. Like, right. At least for me, I have such a hard time. I'm just so used to saying the other names. So it's going to be the same way with Grogu. It's going to be so hard to not call him Baby Yoda still.
Considering like all the packaging for all the toys and everything, call him the child or, and everything. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough sledding for a little while. Calling him all sorts of different names.
Yeah. How do you feel about the name? I think it's kind of cool. It's different.
Yeah. It's cool. We know it's not Yoda.
Right.
So that's cool. We know it's a different being altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So we got an answer to that question. Is it Baby Yoda himself? Is it part of his bloodline, but or not bloodline, and he could still be a relative, I guess,
Yeah, he could.
but not actually him and reincarnated or anything.
Right.
So,
and I would imagine that Yoda knew him, or that he knew Yoda if he was
Right.
out, if he was at the temple.
right, because doesn't Yoda go in with the younglings every once in a while to
Mm-hmm.
train them
Yeah.
and ask their way, ask them to find planets and whatnot?
Because Obi-Wan's always losing planets.
Exactly. He gets name dropped here too, in that whole little Yoda gets name dropped. Ahsoka brings Mando into the light for the wise Jedi master named Yoda.
Oh, right. Yeah, that totally went over my head. I forgot about that.
Yeah, right after his memories go dark, she says,
Mm-hmm.
I've only known one other being like this, a wise master Yoda. Wise Jedi master named Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
So, Ahsoka. I mean, we only sort of touched on Ahsoka. I know that you are just recently, I guess, getting to know the character. How did you feel about Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka?
Oh, it was great. I'm not so concerned about the voice. I think she did a great job. I think she sounded just like Ahsoka. I had no problems. I was even looking for it and I couldn't find it. And she did, and she did a couple of poses, with with her face. Man, I mean, she looks. That's like a perfect. You couldn't ask for a better actress to play her. I mean, as an older version, she's got just even the face and everything. Just they nailed it. It's just perfect,
Mm-hmm.
perfect casting.
Yeah, I agree.
And she's the right. You just can't ask for a better combination of actress and cartoon character, the way that they were drawn out. It's the same with the Bo-Katan. I mean, come on, it's like change the hair color and it's the same look. I mean, you don't gotta suspend disbelief or anything.
Right.
So I like it. I think she did great. I think the jumping around was just like in the Clone Wars, and attacking all her fighting skills and everything, and her double lightsaber battles and everything. And she was clever, and she was she was smart when she fought. Turning off her lightsabers to conceal herself and taking out those guards one at a time, kind of like Rambo style. It was cool, man. I was digging it. I was smiling from ear to ear when I saw it. But I can see your point though, as far as the story goes, and her not wanting to train the child, because kind of leaves a little something left to be desired for her in this series. I agree. I don't think we're going to see her again. I think it's just a one-stop shop here, but she does open up a big old can of worms that I think could be tackled in other series. And I don't think it's the end of her character at all. I think it's just the beginning. It's just the tip of the iceberg, I think. I really could see her having her own show.
Yeah. Well, I think that not to cut you off, but I think that they've already basically confirmed that this was that stepping stone towards her own show.
Right. In her own show and her own big bad that she's going to be trying to tackle. I think it's set apart far enough away from the Mandalorians. Big bad, but I don't know. See, I don't have all the Rebels information to back anything up, but I don't know if Grand Admiral Thrawn is. Oh, and that's the first time I think we talk about him. But I don't know what he has to do with the Empire anymore. I don't know if he's just a Darth Maul kind of guy on his own, or if he's part of the Empire. You're gonna have to shed light on that, or if you want to, I don't know.
I can only really tell you mostly what I remember. But just to back up a little bit, the first shot of Ahsoka's face on screen, I may have swore a few times because I was just I was wowed. The first shot of her with the hood on. Yeah. And I'm just oh my gosh, it looks like the action figure I have. And And then when she started to speak, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to miss nothing against Ashley Eckstein. She's amazing, but
Right.
I'm not going to be like, oh man, I wish she sounded like her. I thought Rosario was right on with the look and the voice and the way that she spoke. She is Ahsoka. They,
Yeah.
like you said, they nailed it. Yeah, I think maybe that's where I'm at. Like I was saying, I want more already. I'm like this was way too cool. And then that name drop. I may have swore again when I heard the name Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Right. I couldn't let
was-
one go, but I wanted to too.
Oh man, I was just like, what the, like I couldn't believe that's the first time in live action we hear the name. So I guess here, all I know is Thrawn was, Thrawn was around. Sorry, spoiler alert. Thrawn was around in Rebels, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
he was in the poster of it, so it's like it's pretty clear.
Okay. So he kind of goes off somewhere. Nobody knows where. And that's basically how they leave it. So he's out there somewhere. And she's looking for him for a couple reasons. I'll leave it
Okay.
at that.
Sounds good.
But when you think about the expanded universe, the Thrawn trilogy books,
Yeah,
he was the big bad, basically.
he was a huge bad. Yeah, I mean, he was such a believable bad. It's more tactical and than Darth Vader. Darth Vader was kind of like, I'm just going to tear everything up. Like this guy was more methodical and calculating and smart. And
Oh, yeah.
like all he had to do was like look at a certain thing and think about it, and he figured out just wow, you know what I mean? Figured out where his next move was.
Right, and he even like discovered an animal, I believe, that if he held the animal, it would protect him from the Force. I can't remember what they were called, but that was in the books. Like I think that was early on in the first book. So I guess okay, so he was like in charge of the Empire basically at that point in the expanded universe. So it doesn't necessarily need to like jump to an Ahsoka series for Thrawn. Maybe Thrawn is in charge of Gideon for all we know.
Oh. Wow. Yeah. Maybe, I mean, they could be connected somehow. Okay.
It's possible, I guess, is all I'm saying. Because, I don't know, why would they name drop him in The Mandalorian just to be like, hey, we got some cool stuff coming up in another series? I guess that's possible too, but it could lead to eventually a showdown between either Bo-Katan and Moff Gideon in this series, or eventually Din Djarin and Moff Gideon. Maybe I doubt it'll happen this season, but maybe they kill off Moff Gideon, and then you come to find that Grand Admiral Thrawn is the real threat.
Right. Really the one pulling the strings.
They have a lot of years before The Force Awakens to play around, so
right, in the Rise of the First Order or whatever. So the only thing I could think of is, not to bring it into our world, but like, have you heard of a casting news of who would play Grand Admiral Thrawn or anything? I haven't seen anything like that. That stuff like that kind of gets, I mean, look at the Ahsoka, that came out a while ago. So,
right. But I mean, that was for this season. Like he may not show up other than we just heard his name this season.
Yeah, so he maybe for next season they cast him or something.
Maybe.
I mean, I thought they were gonna start shooting soon. Or
oh yeah, you know what? That's right. I can't remember now. I thought it was. I think it's like now. I think like December. I think was when they were going to start shooting.
Yeah, definitely the Boba Fett is going on, and the guy from Rogue One.
Oh, Cassian.
Cassian. Yeah.
Yeah, I always forget about that one. That one I think is going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, because we're not going to know anything about his whole story. We just
Right.
know how he ends up. Rogue One,
So,
spoiler alert.
yeah. I mean, I think the episode 4 Star Wars A New Hope is kind of a Rogue One spoiler alert.
True.
So, did you happen to notice who the guy was that was with the magistrate?
Yes.
Michael Bain.
Yeah, Kyle Reese.
Yep, Johnny Ringo.
And Hicks from Alien.
Right. Yep. I thought something funny about him was he said something similar to Din Djarin that he says to Doc Holliday in Tombstone. He goes, I have no quarrel with you, Mandalorian. And what he says to Doc Holliday is, my fight isn't with you. And I was like, they were in, that was when they were in their showdown.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's got to be some kind of, Jon Favreau, or no, Dave Filoni wrote this one, I think. So maybe he's like a Tombstone fan or something, and he's like, I'm going to throw this in here.
Hey, you got to, take from the best, man. That's a compliment and a half.
I totally thought he was going to call Din Djarin Lunger. All right, Lunger. It's hilarious, though. It's not the same exact line, but it was so close. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then, I don't know if you remember the droid from Knights of the Old Republic at all, HK-47.
I remember the name. I don't remember the look so much, but I remember the name.
These guys didn't really look a lot like him, but they were called HK-87 assassin droids, I believe.
Okay.
Those two droids that were with the magistrate. Do you remember them at all?
Yes. Yeah, I remember the droids. Yep.
Okay. So there's another, Old Republic thing, HK assassin droids. I thought that was. I love that these guys had to, like we talked about, these guys have had to play those games
and love them.
Yeah, right. Because they're pulling so much. It's I don't know. It's really cool. And also Tython is the Jedi planet you start out in Star Wars The Old Republic, the MMO.
Oh, wow.
And what got me a little bit is I thought that Tython was the planet with the first Jedi temple according to that game. But then we found out in The Last Jedi that it was Octu. Where Luke Skywalker was.
Yep.
Did they ever say that was the first Jedi temple? I know that Han Solo says that, Luke was looking for the first Jedi temple.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's some deep cuts on there for me.
Right.
It goes past my, my knowledge, I guess.
I gotcha. Tython is a planet where the first society of Force users in unknown history gathered.
Okay.
It played a pivotal role in the histories of the Jedi Order. Jedi is JE' DAII Order.
That's
and
different.
and its successor is the Jedi, how we know it's spelled, Order. This is right out of Wikipedia.
Okay.
It doesn't say that it was the first temple. It's just it played a pivotal role. What was the other thing I said? First society of Force users gathered. But anyways, so just in this episode alone, we got Tython, HK assassin droids, and I thought there was something else from those games, but I might be wrong.
The magistrate, come to find out, doing a little IMBD search of her, she's kind of related. She's Bruce Lee's goddaughter. Is that right?
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Little trivia action on her. So she seemed to know her stuff as far as like she could fight. Like she wasn't just like some meek character that just commanded people for nothing. She had skills. So I figured when they showed her, she must have been. I didn't know her for looks or anything. But once you saw her fight, I'm like, she's got to be somebody big. So come to find out, she's kind of, her godfather is Bruce Lee. So she was kind of like in that whole Bruce Lee family,
Very cool. Did you happen to see if she was in anything recently? She looked really familiar to me, but I didn't look it up.
You know what? You know what's funny? She's so familiar. And I know, like, when I saw her for the first time, I'm like, is that the lady from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
Oh, nice. Is it?
No, it's not her.
Oh, okay.
She wasn't. That wasn't her. She was. I guess she was in Alita Battle Angel. I don't know if you saw that, but she wasn't credited in that.
Oh, yeah.
Lucifer. She's done a lot of TV. It seems like, kind of like a stunt double.
So that battle with her and Ahsoka was pretty cool. I don't know that we've ever seen a lightsaber versus a non-lightsaber melee weapon.
Right, but it's made of Beskar, and it looks like Beskar is just like the end-all be-all. Can deflect lightsabers or laser swords, as they refer to them in this episode.
Oh, yeah, they use that again. Yeah. Back up to that fight too. The quick battle between Mando and Ahsoka, that was really cool, right?
Yeah, I was like, freaking! I thought he was gonna get his arms cut off, but then no, we come to find out the Beskar is good to go with that stuff. Well, deflecting lights, laser sword blasts, or two of them. Like he's still complete. Yeah, it just comes out of nowhere, and she just attacks him, and he's like, I was sent here to, from Bo-Katan. Please don't kill me.
Right. Did you happen to notice too that he used his flamethrower on her? And
yes,
that was straight out of well, for me at least, just seeing it one time, it was straight out of Attack of the Clones when Jango Fett burns Mace Windu's cloak as Mace Windu jumps off of the thing. You know which part I'm talking about? Towards the end of Attack of the Clones, when all the Jedi show up to save Obi-Wan and Padme and Anakin.
Right.
Yeah, Jango Fett uses his flamethrower on the cloak. I thought that was it was very similar to what happened there.
But then her cloak is fine.
Yeah, I know. I thought that was weird too. What happened? I mean, maybe she has another one, even though it had a bunch of holes in it. So I don't know.
Yeah,
it looked like it. Yeah, it looked like it was burned up pretty quick. So
I know.
Yeah, something that I think, I could be wrong, but I think you mentioned about those dark troopers. Maybe those dark troopers are made with Beskar.
Oh, okay.
Because that would give them the. Didn't you say that they're made of armor that resists lightsabers?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
Something like that. So maybe that's what happened to most of a large portion of the Mandalorians was they were killed so the Empire could take that armor and make soldiers out of it, or make it for their soldiers, whichever.
Yeah, I mean, if they're resistant to lightsabers, I mean, boom, you found a counter to the weapon, and
right.
You can win that little arms race, or at least have a chance, because before they had nothing. But yeah, it seems like she got a hold of some Beskar. If she's got that, I'm talking about the magistrate. So she's come across some Beskar because she's got that whole staff. So that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely she's come across some in the past. So maybe she's the one maybe it's all connected, man. Maybe she's the one that's hooked up Moff Gideon too, or something. At least she's the supplier. We're going through the whole supply chain of these robots that we just saw.
Yeah, very interesting. I thought they did say something about her doing something for the Empire. I'll have to rewatch it. I can't remember exactly what. So yeah, it all has to be connected. these are good writers.
Exactly.
You know.
I think they say something along the lines of like, she goes from planet to planet, kind of stripping the resources, and building fleets, using it to build the fleets. So,
good call. But yeah, I thought the battle between her and Ahsoka was really well done. Like she showed no fear that she was fighting a Jedi with two lightsabers. She kind of grinned a couple times in the fight, and obviously Ahsoka was going to win. There was no doubt there, but
right.
But they made it seem like she could have lost. This lady gave her a run for her money, and I liked it. It was well choreographed.
Yeah, Ahsoka even lost one of her lightsabers.
Right.
I mean, she'll get it back, right? I mean, it's just like in a little pond.
Yeah, it was just in the water. She's not going to lose it like her former master always lost his. Obi-Wan's going to kill me.
And how about that? She kind of brings up Anakin a little bit, as the reason as to why she can't train baby Yoda, because she knows having that bond, and the child kind of looks at Mando as like the dad now. So it's like if he was to be separated, he's going to miss him, and that leads to the dark side, as she knows from Anakin.
Did you happen to get that vibe off of Grogu, like kind of right at the start of the episode? Like he kind of he knew that, or at least he felt like Mando was going to just drop him off there, and he just looked really bummed out. He, I don't know. To me, I got that vibe that he was sad already that he was going there. He thought he thought that was going to be the end of their relationship.
Good catch. No, I didn't. Maybe on the second viewing, I'll catch that.
Okay. Yeah, he seemed. I mean, especially coming from the last episode where he's putting his arms up like he's in a roller coaster and giggling and vomiting and having a good old time like a little kid would, and then this episode he's just like kind of moping. He almost looked like he didn't want to try. He didn't want to try to use the Force for Ahsoka because he wanted her to be like, I'm not going to teach him, just so he could stay with Mando.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
And then, he immediately almost immediately listens to Mando as soon as he pulls out the little knob from the from the Razor Crest.
From the stick shift? Yeah.
Yeah. And he immediately takes it from him. Yeah, there is some serious attachment there, which, I mean, that's good that Ahsoka picked up on that. She remembers that from Anakin, like you said. So I don't know. Maybe my opinion's changing on how I felt about story stuff. Thinking about that, it totally makes sense. You saw that in Anakin in The Phantom Menace. As soon as he got on the ship, Padme came up to him and asked him what was wrong. And, he's just like all moping. And he's like, I feel real cold and miss my mom and all that stuff. And so it's very similar. But then she tells him to take him to Tython and give another Jedi a call. Who do you think it's going to be?
Oh boy, I think honestly, I don't think it's going to be Luke. I don't think it is. I think it's going to be some completely new Jedi that we don't know exists. Do you think there's some out there? What I mean?
Oh yeah.
So
I'm sure.
Could it be Ezra?
My initial thought was Luke. I was like, who else could it be at that point? If this is 6 years after Return of the Jedi, he's looking for Force sensitives to start his new, to start up the Jedi Order again.
Boom. Yes.
Maybe he's a younger version of what we saw in The Last Jedi, floating above a rock, reaching out to look for Force sensitives. But when you said Ezra, I had also considered that. This isn't a knock on the character Ezra, but I don't want to see them bring too many characters into this story. I think that it might just get a little too crowded, even if it is just like a one episode thing. But I think Ezra is a possibility. Without spoiling anything with that character, he could very well still be around.
Okay.
Which I guess would be kind of cool. And maybe for all we know, maybe Ahsoka, maybe she, again, we're speculating, but maybe she thinks that, or maybe she knows Ezra's on Tython and thinks that maybe he could train Grogu?
Grogu.
Oh, that's so hard. maybe she thinks that Ezra could train Grogu better than she could.
I don't know.
She knows Ezra. I'll throw that out there. So, I mean, that's not out of the possibilities.
And isn't there another Force user in that group? The one voiced by Freddie Prinze. Is that his name, Freddie Prinze?
Oh, yeah, Kanan Jarrus.
Kanan Jarrus, yeah. I know these guys from playing that Galaxy of Heroes game. There are guys on my team, so I know that guy is around too, right? Well, okay, gotcha. Check. Gotcha. Okay. So moving on, yeah. It seems like you need some Rebels input to do a thorough analysis of speculation and what could happen in the next, or you need some Rebels type of input here.
Right. And that's the downside, I guess, is if you, not you specifically, you in general, if you haven't watched the Clone Wars and you haven't watched Rebels, you're not going to really grasp some of the things that we're seeing, at least in this season of The Mandalorian. But I think that they're putting it together in a way that it works. But like for us to like speculate on certain things, it's not, it's not easy to do without spoiling much. Like like I was telling you, my friend at work who hasn't watched the Clone Wars or Rebels, I would assume he'll probably ask me, what's a Grand Admiral Thrawn, or
this season's not making sense. What's a Bo-Katan, and why is she a big deal, and what's a Grand Admiral Thrawn, and she looks cool. What is she?
Right. But at the same time, it gets you asking questions and talking to other people and maybe doing some Googling if you want to know that bad. So I think that, if I went into these without knowing who these characters were, I think I would be kind of like that kid, the kid in me, like, oh, what's that? Maybe I should look this up and see if there's anything out there. So I think they're doing a good job with that. They're like giving nods to people that have seen all these things and know these characters, but they're also doing it in a way that they don't expect people to know these characters.
Yeah, exactly. Which is like a smart move, because some people, like your friend, are getting introduced to these characters for the first time, and you don't want to throw too much at them, make them feel like they're totally missing out on something. You want them to feel part of this whole new series, and it's fresh, and it's something new. So they're kind of taking everything kind of like, they're kind of just going real slow with everything, not trying to force feed you all this backstory.
Right. So you don't think it would be Luke Skywalker?
I maybe I don't want it to be Luke Skywalker, because it's like maybe the obvious choice. Maybe I want a new Jedi to kind of follow or learn about, I mean, not that I don't like Luke. Come on, that's not what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, we've had a lot of years of Luke, and they did 3 movies to try to wrap up his storyline, just to crack it back open again. It's like, doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we know enough about Luke to know that he's fine trying to build the Jedi Order again somewhere, finding Force people. But to me, it'd be sweet if it's a brand new person that we don't know about, so we can kind of give this series its own new Jedi or Force user or something, as long as it's not like a bad clone, like.
Nice.
As long as it's not somebody with the dark side kind of potential type of character. As long as it's someone good.
Gotcha.
that's going to train the baby Yoda. Guru is his name. How do you say it?
Grogu.
Grogu.
It's probably Goguru, and I keep saying it wrong. I'm correcting you the wrong way. I'm gonna look.
Grogu. Grogu. Yeah.
Yeah. Grogu. You
Grogu.
just said that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for this episode being 47 minutes long, I mean, it's not like as, I don't think it's like as jam packed unless all these, I haven't listened to anything or read much as far as like all the hidden Easter eggs or anything. I mean, there's not much outside of the droid, maybe the little Beskar staff. That's, kind of new. I mean, Lang was okay for us. I mean, I didn't think he had a chance. Is the showdown,
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
That was kind of just almost like killing time, if anything.
Yeah, he didn't have a chance. He didn't have a shot at winning that. There wasn't like a lot of characters. I mean, it was kind of, for being a city worth of people, we only got to see like 2 or 3 villagers and some kids. So there wasn't much. I mean, and I haven't studied the backgrounds or anything, but I mean, you saw like dead trees everywhere. And there was like this huge kind of like monster thing in the, not monster, but like huge
like dinosaurs or something.
Yeah. In the background. They look pretty big. I mean, they must be something important, or else they wouldn't have shown them. But they didn't really add anything. They were just like background filler. Yeah, for being like 47 minutes long or whatnot, it still was pretty small episode. If I compared to other ones,
Yeah, I think this one had a lot more to it, but yeah, it didn't feel like some of the other episodes, like you were saying. I mean, it was all just focused on Ahsoka and Baby Yoda.
Right. And they're kind of like meeting, and she becomes aware of them, and sorry, not sorry, can't help,
I liked how she kept smiling at Grogu. Like you could tell she obviously she felt for Grogu, but she was probably also seeing Master Yoda in him.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, it is tough for her to probably let go of this Force user, because tough choice, here she goes. She can definitely start building back the Jedi Order with them, but maybe the whole not being a Jedi kind of still sits with her, because she took the road, the hard road, is saying no, I can't do this. You have to find someone else, and here's how you can do it. Yeah, because she definitely was attached to the little guy. How can you not?
Right. So do you think he's heading to Tython next? Do you think he's going to have more obstacles and more side missions, or do you think he's going to get there in the next episode?
What number are we on?
This would be the 5th one, so there's 3 episodes left?
Yeah. We've got nothing to kind of nothing to look forward to other than this Jedi Temple, ex-Jedi Temple. I mean, that's all we have to look forward to. And we have 3 episodes left. So there's definitely going to have to be some, I don't want to say filler episodes, but some side quest episodes, or at least, I don't know. I mean, there's no reason to go back to anywhere he's been to this season. He's kind of like,
he's already done that.
So the only thing that can kind of come back into play is, boom, Moff Gideon shows up on Ahsoka's planet with those droids and like takes everybody out, and then she's left wondering how that happened. And she can trace it back from the Mandalorian showing up and him being tracked or whatnot. So maybe she doesn't like that and goes after Mandalorian. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm just thinking off the top of my head.
Like goes after him to, like, what would she be going after him for?
Well, if Moff Gideon with those droids or whatever takes out that whole town that she just saved, She'd be upset about that, right?
Oh, you think she'd be like going after him to fight him?
Yeah, maybe she'd be mad.
So I would think
if she
I would think maybe
survives.
I would think maybe she would warn him if she found out, that that's why Moff Gideon was there. Maybe that would get her set on a path to help Din Djarin and Grogu.
Right. I mean, that's basically the only thing I can think of is like that tracking beacon is coming back somehow to add another episode, and he's got to figure all that out before he goes to the Jedi Temple. That I could see that coming back into play somehow.
Okay.
I don't think we need to go back to Tatooine. Oh, unless Boba Fett, he's got Boba Fett's armor, right? Is it in the ship?
Yeah, I would imagine it's not like he sold it or anything, so he's
Yeah.
got to have it. Yeah,
Frog Lady's back. I mean, Frog Lady's done.
Are we going to see Boba Fett again this season?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's hard to say, and he's not going to go. I don't think he would go back to Tatooine. We've seen that a lot.
Yeah.
I think it has to come down to either him getting sidetracked, going to Tython, or something with Moff Gideon.
Yeah, I mean, if we kind of follow the formula, he's got like a task and then a side mission. Then when he finishes the side mission and then the task, and then that task kind of gets complete. Like he had to go find the Mandalorian, but he had to fight that one crate dragon, right? Mm-hmm. Then he found then the Mandalorian kind of like all worked out. Then he had to take the Frog Lady to a certain planet, but they got stuck on the spider planet. That was an episode. And then that happened. And then he had to find more Mandalorians, but then they had to go and take care of that ship, right? I'm going to recap the whole season here. And then he's got to find the Jedi, but he's got to stop at Navarro, and he's got to take care of that whole situation as far as that old Empire base. So he needs to get to the Jedi Temple. If you follow the logic and follow the steps, yes, there's going to be a side mission coming up next episode.
Yeah, and then also if you look at last season, it was like 7 and 8 was around when everything started to come together. That was when Moff Gideon shows up and all that stuff goes down. So they're probably building up to that. I really just hope that the season doesn't end with Moff Gideon taking Baby Yoda. And then you have to wait till next year to find out what happens.
It's going to be one monster cliffhanger, that's for sure. As we said before, season 2 is when the gloves come off and they start getting into the nitty gritty of what's going to be happening here. They're obviously revealed a lot of new characters. Bo-Katan, Ahsoka Tano, the Mandalorian, the Boba Fett guy.
Marshall. Cobb Vanth,
right, yeah. And he can actually go back to Frog Lady for more babysitting if he wanted to, She's still around. She's part of the crew now.
Yeah, but the thing with that is, could she really protect Baby Yoda from the Empire?
I don't know.
See, that's the thing is something we actually didn't bring up from the last episode that I'll get to in just a second. But the thing is he knows that Moff Gideon is still looking for Grogu. So right. I don't know if he would want to leave him with the frog people. But something that I kept wanting to bring up that I keep forgetting about is we didn't talk about how Din Djarin thought that Moff Gideon was dead. I don't think we talked about it, at least.
Yeah, he thought he was dead with that TIE fighter.
Yeah, until the last episode where you see Dr. Pershing talking and Mithril says, "Oh no, this recording was from 2 or 3 days ago or whatever," and that's when Din's like, "Oh crap, Moff survived."
Yeah,
I mean, he didn't say that, but he had to have been thinking it.
Similar to Obi-Wan saying, "I've killed him before." In the Clone Wars, he doesn't stay dead or something like that.
Right.
He doesn't like to stay dead.
Yeah. That's funny.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think the meat is coming. we don't really have too many things to not look forward to, but too many clues as to what's going to happen, because it's only the Jedi Temple. Other than that, and like I said before, the tracking beacon come back into play. It's pretty much all we got moving forward. It's going to be interesting, what they're gonna do. And it seems like we're going to have some sort of side mission going on here. So maybe reveal a brand new planet, or we also got the Jedi pilots, not the Jedi pilot, the Republic pilots that can come back into play. They could do another stop. They could try to pull them over again.
Yeah, it's possible.
So
yeah, I feel like we'll probably end up seeing those guys again this season.
Oh yeah,
I think things are going to get really intense. At least I'm hoping it will. And who knows? Like you said, maybe that all goes down on Tython, and maybe you see a new Jedi, or a Jedi that is from the past that we didn't know survived, come out and maybe fight to protect Grogu, or who knows. I think
there's also Leia.
Yeah, but she stopped her training, though, according to the Rise of Skywalker. Like the night that she completed her training, she stopped. So would she be, or are you just saying just Leia, not a Jedi version of her?
Yeah, just Leia could come out and take a look.
Something they did a lot in the expanded universe was Han and Leia would go off on these weird missions to different planets, and they would encounter. I don't know if they ever were sent out to look for a force sensitive or anything, but they would always end up on these weird missions where I think Lando had to save them a couple times, and so I doubt they would bring Han and Leia into this, but it'd be kind of funny if they did.
Yeah.
With baby Kylo.
Totally. He'd be about a baby right now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just about, I would think.
Right. Well, I mean, Jedis, there's probably not that many, but force sensitive people, there probably is, I mean, the force isn't dead. The force doesn't die. It's just, there's force sensitive beings still around. So
just no Sith order or Jedi order to train them.
Right. No formal training available. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we pretty much covered anything we could, and we speculated probably a lot, because that's all that's really left us with. I'm not saying, I'm disappointed. It's just all it left us with was speculating, like, what the heck is going to go on next. It'll be interesting.
It's all kind of like up in the air right now. There's really no clear cut direction as far as what the next episode is going to bring. We know what his new task is, but as far as what the next episode is going to bring, we kind of don't know.
All right, so I guess we'll see next week.
I think we'll get into listening to what other people have to say, and maybe rewatch it and see if we missed a lot. I mean, I don't think we did. I think we covered it pretty well.
Yeah, no, I don't think there was, like you were saying, I don't think there was a ton going on, so I don't think we missed much. It was very straightforward.
Very straightforward.
Which was cool. I liked it. And yeah, I mean, this episode was awesome. And, Ahsoka, welcome to live action.
Yes.
It was way too cool. I want to see more.
The action was great. The action was like, all the lightsaber battles and everything was totally cinematic.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing a great job as far as the visuals of this series. It doesn't look low budget at all.
Right.
I mean, it looks like we're watching mini movies every week, which is great. They're not skimping on the on the backgrounds or anything. Everything looks legit.
Mm-hmm.
When you get those like when you get like a TV version of like a popular movie, you can just kind of tell it's like TV look. I don't get that with this. I get this as like Star Wars. It looks just like Star Wars. The speeder bikes look exactly the same. The X-wings look the same. The costumes look the same. I mean, he's all shiny because his armor's shiny. So I get that. But like, you know, everybody else looks kind of worn and used in torn universe. You know what I mean? His ship is you know, looks great when they show it. That's another thing. Did you notice some kind of like red, like writing on the side of the ship, on the side of the Razor Crest as it landed?
No,
it could have just been my TV. Okay, I was going to ask you about that. It looked like spray paint.
Really?
Yeah, or something. I don't know. I have to rewatch it.
Yeah, I'll have to look for that. Do you know about when that was in the episode?
I think as it lands on the planet there.
Oh, okay, so sort of the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely take a look. Okay, Force. So we'll be talking again real soon about the Mandalorian and whatnot. Clone Army, you know what to do.
Right. If you got a couple seconds or anything, come on and drop us an email. Let us know what you thought of the episode of The Mandalorian. If you got any questions for us, or if you want to point something out that we missed, or make fun of us because we can't say the baby's name right. We get it. We know the internet loves to correct. You know, we misspelled something and you want us to tell us how to spell something. Drop us an email at clonearmyradio@gmail.com. Share the show with your friends. You know, we see the numbers that are steadily growing every week, so we're excited that more and more people are tuning in. And you know, as we get emails and questions, we'll definitely say your name for the record. And yeah, just looking forward to more conversations in the future.
Right on. Thank you as always for listening, and we will catch y'all next time. Fours, may the Schwartz be with you.
And also with you, Admiral Piet.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Clone Army Radio. Email us with thoughts or questions at clonearmyradio@gmail.com. Please remember to click subscribe so you don't miss the newest episodes.
Do it, Admiral Piet.